is that I say something, and then we have, we sing the Damodara Ashtakam prayers. And you're going to do that, Ram? And we all offer a lamp at that time. Now, in the course of offering that lamp, the idea, incorrect or less meaningful understanding, is that this is the beginning of a new year. So let me unload all of my, we can shut this door. Let me unload all of my, thank you, bad karma, misdeeds, and get a cosmic reset. It's compared in the Vedas to an elephant. Any of you ever been to Jaipur and you take the elephants up the hill? You can ride up to the Amber, the old palace, and you can ride on an elephant. And those elephants, they get scrubbed down with a brush. You can see them every morning. What do they call Mahout? What do they call them? Mahout? Yeah. That takes care of the elephant. They're out there scrubbing them with a brush, get them all cleaned up. And you know what the elephant does after he's all scrubbed up? Standing on the bank, all scrubbed up, what does he do? Throws dirt all over himself. Well, what's that mean? You find this in every tradition. The Catholics, they go to the church on Friday and confess all their sins. Whatever they've done during the week, they confess their sins. You know why? Then they got a clear slate for the weekend. Got all that taken care of, and I can go at it again. So it's not an Eastern tradition or Western tradition. The idea is, incorrect idea, is how to game the system. It's called prayashchitas. I make one mistake because even every endeavor is covered with fault, like fire covered by smoke, Krishna says in the Gita. And in modern parlance, they say to err is human. So we all have some mistakes, some misdeeds. We've all built up some karmic reaction. The karmic, cosmic wrecking ball is going to come through the window and hit us at some point in time. So let me counterbalance it. And you find that as the definition of spirituality or religion. That I just learn how to game the system. I learn what's good karma, what's bad karma, and I act in a way that I don't get too much karmic weight coming down the pipe. So people on Kartik, they think, hey, it's a new year. Om Jaya Jagadish Hari. Give me a new car and a house by the sea. But an intelligent person, human form of life, is meant to think deeply. Vedanta Sutra, the essence of the Vedic philosophical understanding, says, Atato Brahma Jigyasya, that now we've got the human form of life. Believe it or not, this didn't happen automatically or by Darwinian evolution, but after many, many, many lifetimes. What is it? Bahunam janmanam mante jnanavamam prapadyate vasudeva savamiti samahatma sadurlabhaha. Krishna says in the Gita. To get this human form of life and to think, hang on a minute, am I just negative, get to zero, negative, get to zero, or fulfill whatever little material desires I have. Is that what it's all about? One of the first things I heard my spiritual master, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, say, he said, human form of life is not meant to live like a polished dog or cat. I was shocked. Who is he to say that, you know? But if you think about it, and he went on to explain that animal life, if you want to just simplify it, categorize it, general categories, it's eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Go to the zoo. We have a famous zoo here in San Diego, isn't it? You can check out it's the same thing in the Omaha Zoo too, I'm sure. But you can go to the San Diego Zoo and you'll see that they're eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Now, let's look at high society. Let's look at, I remember at fancy dinner parties before I became a devotee. You would have all this, so many forks, so many spoons. You start from the outside and work in. That's the basic principle. So you have a right fork for this, another fork for that, another fork for... But it's just polished eating. Really, they're just shoveling some bones and feathers and clamshells in. But other than that, it's eating. It may be more polished. You may have a stuffed Persian quail, or who knows what it is. But it's just eating. And we could go down the mall, sleeping. My father was a very good man, and I'm deeply indebted to him. I can never repay him. But I remember one time I was on my way to India, and he was in London on business. Oh, little baby making noise. Sorry, my little friend. I've got a clock. I'll be done on time, don't worry. But thanks to the mother. So we stopped in London. I was on my way to India. He was there on business. And he had a room. Where we were the hotel he was staying is called Claridge's. Winston Churchill said, when I die, I don't want to go to heaven. I want to go to Claridge's. It was one of the most fancy, at least in those days, hotel in the world. So I was sleeping. I was a young man in those days. I was sleeping on the floor. My father was in his bed. And all night long, he was tossing and turning, buy, sell, this, that. He was vexed by so many things in the business world. I slept like a log, to tell you the truth. I was thinking about Vrindavan and Krishna, and I was out like a light. So even you're in a fancy place, quite often the dog curled up. One of the Chanakya Pandit says one of the qualities you can learn from a dog is to be brave, to be loyal, to be satisfied with very little, even if you have a voracious appetite. These are different things you can learn from different animals. And you can learn from a dog to sleep anywhere. Dog just curls up and goes to sleep, no problem. So you could even argue that sometimes a dog is sleeping better than the human being. Doesn't have to pay rent or mortgage. It's better off right there. So you can go down the list. We don't have much time. But whether you're eating or sleeping or mating or defending, you can have a drone, knocks on your door, you open it and comes in and blows you up, or a vicious. Oh, you can be throwing a boulder off a cliff at some, as Cro-Magnon man, but the principle's the same. So is human form of life really meant to eat, sleep, mate, and defend, to try to live a comfortable life? My teacher again gives the example. You see children. Hello, my little friend. Let's see how this one lasts. Don't worry, we're vegetarian. We don't bite. So you see the children playing on the beach. And we all did it when we were kids. If you make a little sand castle, I saw some, it didn't last long, did it? I saw a kid had a paper crown on, got it from Burger King or whatever it was, and they made a little castle, and they had their whole program. They had 2 different castles and 2 different kingdoms, and they were completely locked into it. What they didn't notice was that within a few hours, what happened? If you're on the, here's a big hint, if you're in the tide waters, what happens? Tide changed, came in, and all their kingdom and all their crown and all their royalty and all their dreams washed away in a second. Well, we are also under the influence of the waves of time. And time and tide wait for no one. I think it was King John from the Magna Carta. So the lore goes, who knows, but the point is good. He went down to the, everyone was divine inspired. That didn't last long. You are the king, is the absolute. So he went down to the shore, went down to the ocean, went to the stand by the edge, told the ocean, stand back. Did the ocean stand back for King John? Nope, his silk slippers all got wet. He was trying to make that point, that you're worshiping me and saying this, but I'm just a mortal. We're all under the... So my point being, human form of life, atato brahma jigyasya, it means to think about what is permanent, what is eternal, what is really going on. When the tides of... It's described... I mean, people fight. I mean, everywhere they're fighting. Muslim, Hindu, Arab, Jew, Republican, Democrat, whatever, everybody's fighting. And it's compared to, in the ocean, sometimes you'll see the seaweed comes together in tangles, and the current changes and it's all separated. So I'm thinking I'm American, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a Republican, I'm a whatever it may be. But how long, sir? And where do you go afterwards? So our humble request, and we're going to say something about Leela and the wonderful things that happen on Kartik, but these junctures of time, are meant for contemplation. They're not just meant, oh, we all get together and I get to eat my favorite foods and I can chit-chat and gossip with my relatives. I mean, we're all human beings. These things are going on. We're not, expect everybody to be a stoic, take a vow of silence. That's not what we're saying. But we're saying that at least at these junctures, we should think about what to pray for. And we can pray for Om Jaya Jagadish Hari, give me a new house and a new car and a house by the sea. Or we can pray to win the lottery, or let my son get in or daughter get into Harvard. We can pray for, I got a toothache, let's hope it's not this or that. Okay, but is that really the best thing you can do? So our point is that when you offer your prayers today, when you offer your lamp, and why not get a little extra boost? Why? And I don't want to go too far afield. And what is the time? Oh, we got a little bit of time. What time do we go till when? 6:45. Okay. Now, by the way, we're going to have a quiz after this. And you don't know who I'm going to call on. I'm going to call on 3 people to ask me a question. It might be you. You think, it'll be the guy next to me. I'm not worried about it. No, I'm going to call on. So you need to be thinking, what's a question that I want to ask? So be thinking, because I'm definitely going to call on 3 people and you don't know who. And I don't know who yet. So be thinking about it. But if this world, it's called the either-or question. That's really the only question that matters. What are the lottery numbers? No. What is that question that actually matters? Is this world happening by chance? Is it just going on by random laws of physics? Of course, a law means a lawmaker. If it's ticking like a clock, who wound it up? If it's all from a big bang, well, where'd the big bang come from? What caused the bang? Or the singularity? Or, you know, there's a whole lot of things you can ask about that. But if we accept, either it all happened by chance, there's no rhyme or reason, it's just chemical reactions, laws of physics, and when you drop dead, plant me under a fruit tree so I'm good fertilizer. Or there's a design. There's an intelligence. Wherever you see design, I challenge anyone, and this doesn't count as a question because I'm giving it to you. I challenge anyone here, can you give me an example where there's pattern, order, symmetry, where there's not ultimately intelligence behind it? You can go halfway. You can say, well, I mean, the traffic lights are running, and that's, you know, pattern. Well, sure, but there's an electrical system behind it. There's a traffic engineer. There was a whole design. There was a whole plan, and people with intelligence laid out that course. So this world, we see pattern, we see symmetry, we see order, we see design, and design means intelligence. So either it happened by chance, or there's a designer and a purpose behind it. And if it's all going on by chance, then fine. Just row, row, row your boat. When I was a kid, there was a ditty we used to sing. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. I mean, I don't know if they said it in India, but I think in America, what is it? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Life is but a dream. Okay, I've seen advertisements. You only go around once in life. Get all the gusto you can. So, okay, that's one way of looking at it. But what if, because we do see order, we do see pattern, we do see symmetry, the world, the existence, the cosmos is so finely tuned and interrelated that the statistical odds of it happening by chance are like 0.000 to the nth degree. So if it didn't happen by chance, just open our minds for a moment, then there's intelligence and there's purpose. And if there's purpose, then where do I fit in? What is the purpose of my life? If it's not just by chance, if I'm not just a polished animal, then what is it all about? So all of that is described in the Vedas, the method for realizing our actual self. Just like there's a process for distilling water. It's pretty simple. You know, you've got water that's contained. Hey, my dear Mataji. Thanks. It's inevitable. It's not his fault. I'll be done in a couple minutes. If you have water that's got mud and whatever it may be in different elements, this and that, you bring it to a boil, you have some system to distill it, to catch the steam that comes off, and it leaves the impurities, and you've got the distilled pure water, purified water. There's a process. I mean, a highly trained chimp could do that. In the same way, the great saints and sages and rishis throughout time, their laboratories are their ashrams, their hermitages, their lab books are the great writings, all the Puranas and Samhitas, all the Vedic literature by all the great sages headed by Vyasadeva, inspired by the Supreme Lord. It's all there. So our humble request is on these festival days, don't just glide along as a social function or a chance to reset the karmic clock, clear out the old and start with a fresh start. but actually use them as a moment for contemplation. How can I... Krishna says, and we'll end here and then we'll just do some Leela. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yeyatam mam prapadyante. And my guru calls it the law of reciprocity. Krishna says, as you take one step to me, I'll take one to you. As you surrender, I reveal myself. And Prabhupada said it's not even a one-to-one ratio. You know, I take one step to you, you take one to me. Prabhupada said if we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna will take 10 to us. What is that? 1 to 1,000%? Is that what it is? Suppose, who was the guy with the Bitcoin who just got thrown in jail because he just lied to everybody? You know, they say if the interest rate is too good to be true, it's probably not true. So if I offered you Swami's investment firm, and I could actually produce a 1,000% rate of return, and it was true, people would be lined up, isn't it? And Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, you take one step to me, and I will take 10 to you. So you're here, you could be doing so many things. You could be watching cricket or football or I don't know what the latest reality show is. You could be doing, but here you are. So why not offer a prayer? You can say whatever other prayers you want to offer. Why not offer a prayer? Krishna, please help me grow in spiritual life. Please reveal yourself to me. Let me actually have a deeper understanding of what the purpose of life is. One last thing, we are meant to be happy. It's not that there's a English poet, I think it's Blake, who was anti-religion, just, following all the strictures. And he said, his line was talking about priests, men in black muttering no. Don't do this, don't do that, you're going to burn in hell. And that can be a little discouraging. But the fact of the matter is the Vedas say that our actual nature, our default nature, if a diamond falls in the mud, covered with mud, packed there for, does the diamond become contaminated? Does it lose its luster? Who wants to say? We have yesers and we have knowers. Oh, knowers. Acha. Why is that? You pull it out, you clean it off, and it's still a diamond. That's its default natural state. So the Nitya Swarup, the eternal position of each and every one of us, of the Atma, of the Self, is described as Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, and full of happiness. That is our actual state. That is our default mode. Prabhupada said one time, he said, if you're not happy, you're doing something wrong. If you're practicing spiritual life and you don't feel you're growing and becoming happy, you're not going at it right. So if eternal happiness and knowledge, free from fear, it's one of the biggest things. I said defending, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Defending is also sometimes called fearing. That cough, is it cancer? It was so many things we're worried about. So we're going to get somebody's going to drop a bomb on our head. We're going to get mugged on our way to Walmart. Is my husband going to dump me? Or my wife going to? People are in anxiety about all kinds of stuff. I saw a bumper sticker that said, if you're not paranoid, you haven't been paying attention. There's a lot going on in this world. But if we understand, realize, I'm not this body, I'm the eternal soul. I've had so many bodies, so many lifetimes. I've chased after the same thing so many times. Let me find reality. Let me find substantial happiness. Let me connect with Krishna, the cause of all causes, the intelligent designer behind all things. That solves everything. So I keep saying we'll end, and I mean it this time. When you offer your lamp today and you offer a prayer, not in exclusion to, of course you can do that, that's very intelligent, but let's just say in addition to whatever you want to pray. Pray to Krishna, please open my eyes, please help me. Please help me understand spiritual life. Because if you do, Krishna will reciprocate. He gives his promise, 1 step to him and 10 to you. And if we become conscious of Krishna, Prabhupada said to me one time, it was a group of devotees. He said, you think you're sitting on the floor? He said, I'm sitting on the hand of Krishna. Fearless. Fearless at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. I was, there was 1970, summer of 1970, it was all the talk. Who's that Nostradamus and all the astrologers? The big one was coming. Buy land in Nevada because it's going to be seashore. California's fallen into the ocean. I mean, I don't know if anyone was around in the set, but everybody was talking. It was coming. It was that, that was it. No doubt about it. Run for the hills. So even the devotees were hearing this, some of them were. And if you've lived in California long enough, you've all experienced a trembler, when it's... Prabhupada, I swear to you, Prabhupada was giving Bhagavatam class, morning class. And the building started to sway and shake. We were having a trembler. The chandeliers started swinging. There were accordion doors on the altar. The doors opened. You could see the devotees dressing the deities. 3 or 4 devotees, ran out of the building. Prabhupada was reading Bhagavatam, reading the purport in the verse to us. Looked up, checked out the chandeliers, went right back on reading. And I remember thinking, hey, if I'm going to go, I'll go with Prabhupada. It's auspicious. But fearless, not foolish. Devotees asked Prabhupada one time, if we're fearless depending on Krishna, why do we wear seatbelts? Just depend on Krishna. Prabhupada said devotees are fearless, but they're not fools. We asked Prabhupada one time, what does it mean to surrender? Prabhupada said surrender means to use your God-given intelligence. Krishna gave us brains, we should use it. But if we have that understanding, behind everything is the merciful, beneficial hand of the therapeutic Supreme Lord, we become fearless. So it's the greatest gift, it's the greatest realization. So pray for it today. Okay? So that's a little something about what to pray for Kartik. Now I did want to read, and if I brought it, this is such an auspicious day. What happened? What is it? There used to be, I think it was on BBC, What Happened Today? On this day, I don't know what. Somebody won some battle, or somebody did this or that, or dynamite was invented. That was a real gift. So, but these are some of the things. I did a study of I have a wonderful book called Puranic Encyclopedia. And its histories all from the Puranas. Hello, my little friend. She's got a nice smile, doesn't she? She's up to something. And there goes the father. Okay, so things that happened on this Diwali, things that we can meditate in, that we can remember. We do not live in a static universe. We actually live in an ecstatic universe. We've got dogs, generally speaking, dogs will only crane their neck 45 degrees. That's all. That's the only spectrum they see. You never see a dog, well, what's up there? You don't see it. They're within a certain bandwidth. And most people, like we were saying in the beginning, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, they're just within a certain bandwidth. But what if there's a whole other reality of what's actually going on in this world and creation and seen by the great saints and sages? So that we end on time. One thing that happened, I've got 6 here. There were about 14, but I only had time for 6. This is the victory of Lord Ram. According to the Ramayana, it was the new moon day of Kartik when Lord Ram, Sita, and Lakshman and Hanuman returned to Ayodhya after vanquishing Ravana and conquering Lanka. So does anyone can guess what the origin of the lights are? Why were all those lights? You ever fly into an airport at night? What do you see on the runway? See all kinds of lights. And also, what do they say? We'll leave the light on for you. You want to welcome somebody, you put the light on. So all the citizens of Ayodhya, they decorated the center of the city and the whole city with lamps and lights to welcome back Lord Ram. So one of the reasons is for the lights, it's welcoming Lord Ram back after his victory over Ravana. We can also pray, Lord Ram, please be victorious in my heart, conquer over Ravana. Ravana had 10 heads, and each one lust, greed, anger, envy, madness. He had those 10 heads, which grew from his heart. So we can pray to, just as Lord Ram, we lit Ayodhya, please light my heart, get all this darkness out. That's a bona fide prayer. Another, Lord Vishnu rescued Lakshmi. On Diwali day, Lord Vishnu, in his 5th incarnation as Vamadev, rescued Lakshmi from the prison of Bali. Lord Krishna vanquished Narakasura. On the day preceding Diwali, Lord Krishna killed the Asuric king Narakasura and rescued 16,000 princesses from his evil grip. The celebration of this event went on for 2 days, including today, Diwali. It's Lakshmi Devi's birthday. The goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, incarnated on the new moon day of the Kartik month during the churning of the ocean of milk, giving Diwali another association with Lakshmi Devi. Of course, let me ask you something. What does the word Chanchala mean? It's a name for Lakshmi. Anyone know? She's flickering. Yeah, here today, gone tomorrow. But where does the goddess of fortune never, ever leave? The lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, of Narayan. She's actually there, Srivatsa, she's always there on the chest of Lord Vishnu. So you can try to capture Lakshmi with all your different, this puja, that puja, this salutation. But she's flickering. But if you really want her, what's the secret? You want a tip? What's the secret? If you have Krishna in your heart, you also have Lakshmi automatically, because she never leaves Lord Vishnu. So that's an inside tip for how to always have Lakshmi's blessings. You please her. What is it? Love me, love my... Well, that's not the right analogy. So, okay. It's the return of the Pandavas. According to the Mahabharata, it was Kartik when the Pandavas returned from their 12-year of banishment. As a result, it says here 12, but it was 12 in the forest and 2 more hiding incognito. So let's say 14 years. Returned from their banishment as a result of their defeat in the hand of Kauravas in a game of dice. The citizens, who all loved the Pandavas dearly, celebrated the day by lighting earthen lamps. It was also to welcome back the Pandavas after their banishment. The Kauravas were thinking, if they're banished for 14 years and we don't blow it, we're not, we manage properly, they'll forget about the Pandavas and they'll love us. But the Pandavas, because of their nobility, because of their character, the citizens never forgot them. We do not live by bread alone, but because they were noble. Try telling that to our politicians now. The idea of nobility, of sacrifice, of charity, of humility, forget it. Just for fun, because I started. You know what the joke is? Do you know when a politician is lying? How you can tell a politician is lying? His lips are moving. Just simple as that. Okay. Maybe you get 1 or 2 good ones. We can hope. Okay, here's the last one. In Damodara Leela, because we're starting that Kartik, we'll be lighting lamps here at the temple and singing this wonderful, it's the story of Damodara Leela. We'll sing that. What time is it? What time do we sing it in the evening? We sing it in the evening or in the morning? What time do we sing it in the morning? Something like 7:30 on your way to work or school or whatever. If you happen to swing by, you can offer a lamp, offer some prayers. So and it's a beautiful prayer. Okay, so the last thing, and then we'll see if you have some questions. Damodara Leela. In the Vaishnava Toshani, Srila Sanatana Goswami, one of the direct disciples and followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, writes that Krishna's breaking of the pot of yogurt and being bound by his mother Yasoda, which is the beginning of the Damodara Leela, that took place on Diwali. So those are a few of the wonderful things that happen on this day, Diwali. And it's like a channel opens. You know, every now and then, what do they call the blue light special at Walmart? You know, for this day only, discount. It's like Krishna is very kind, Karuna Sindhu, he's an ocean of mercy. And sometimes he just arranges special days that just mercy flows down. Janmashtami, Diwali, so this is one of those special days that mercy just falls down. So offer your prayers, but ask the right prayers. Okay, now, in the 5 minutes we have left, does anyone have a question? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'm going to call on you. I can see everybody sweating. Well, I'll ask you a question you can answer. How about that? Why is modern society, generally speaking, simply like polished dogs and cats? Anybody listening? What? Have I been wasting my time sitting here?
Can you repeat the question, please?
That's what you ask when you don't know the answer. It's called buying time. The question is, but I think you're off the hook because you came in a little bit late maybe, but why? I'm asking for so many things. I have so many goals, so many aspirations. I'm going to get on top of the pile. But what am I looking for? That is the same thing as animals. Animal life and polished. I know, Ram, I hope you know. Nobody wants to take a guess? An animal. Why are we like a polished animal? What are animals doing as the general categories?
Eating, mating, sleeping, defending.
Way to go, my friend. 10 points for
Krishna.
you. And is that all that life is meant for? That's petty and putrid and pale. Okay.
Is that because we believe in afterbirth and we believe that we keep coming back to the earth to take care of the...
Well, maybe you come back to it.
In modern world, other religions believe this is just one life they have.
That's what I said. Yeah, thank you very much. That it's eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die. Get all the gusto you can because you only have one life. Sure. But let me ask you this. I mean, all right, what's an example Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita about survive? Because the point is, well, time of death, you pull the plug, it's all over. What is the example that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita about the soul surviving changes? Second chapter, Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin yata dehe. Yep. We've survived so many. All righty. What is the riddle of the Sphinx? The riddle of the Sphinx is what animal walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? I'll repeat it for you. What animal walks on 4... who? What? Human. Defend your answer, young man. No, I didn't ask you. You don't look like a young man. So as a baby, it's a human being. 4 legs as a baby. All right, and the 3rd leg? Exhibit A. So we're surviving so many changes. My parents, who passed away, went to their, I don't know what it was, I think it was their 50th high school reunion or something. So I asked my mom afterwards, how was it? She said, oh, it was so depressing. I said, why? She said, well, you know, Skippy, he's in a walker. You know, Curly's bald. You know, I mean, slim, you know, 250 pounds. He said, nobody recognized anybody. You all had to, put your glasses on, because you can't see anything, and read the name tag. Oh, how are you? Everybody, nobody, but they all felt the same. They all remembered when they caught the, homecoming pass of the homecoming game, and it was the apex of their life. They all remember it. But so the body is changing all the time. We've survived so many changes. Why do we think the time of death is the final change? Doesn't make any sense at all. And the body actually, you can say grow, but the cells are replacing themselves all the time. I think the basic rule of thumb, I think the brain takes longer, but it's like every 7 years, all the cells in your body have been replaced, something like that. The body's changing all the time. Energy can be neither created or destroyed. It's a basic law of physics. The soul, what's the difference between a living man and a dead man? Prabhupada used to say a car runs out of gas, you put gas in it, off it goes. You got a dead man, then just, get some right colored water with the right ingredients and a good electric, bring a dead person back to life. No, the soul is gone. So, all right, pray for the right things. We'll end here. And don't waste our time like polished dogs or cats, but get the real thing. Freedom from birth, death, disease, and old age, and eternity, knowledge, and happiness. If you learn to love Krishna, you'll learn to love every living entity perfectly. It's the only peace formula. The United Nations just puts up a new flag every week. Okay, we'll end there. Thank you very much for sitting so patiently. All glories to Kartik. Hare Krishna.